Hello, good evening. This is U.S. Immigration Attorney Sharifa Tharpe. I'm here live to take your U.S. immigration related questions. Go ahead, put your questions in the comments so that I may answer. I have a great topic for you today. So I'm going to talk about who gets to adjust status in the United States through their U.S. citizen or resident parent. Now, there seems to be a bit of confusion about who gets to stay in the United States to apply for permanent residence while staying here and who can't do that. Now, I'm going to break it down first in who is able to do this. This is going to be individuals who are, if you're out of status, you are going to have to either be under 21, unmarried, and the son or daughter of a US citizen, or you're going to have to qualify for VAWA. VAWA means that you were mistreated by a US citizen or legal permanent resident parent, and you're under 21 and you were under 18 at the time that you were mistreated. Those individuals are allowed to stay here even though they're out of status. Now, if you don't fall within this category, it's going to be, the next question is, do you currently have legal status here? So that's one. If you have legal status here, so for example, are you on a student visa? Are you on another type of employment-based visa? The other is, do you have a current priority date? If you have a current priority date and you have a parent, so you're a US citizen or legal permanent resident parent, you have a current priority date, you have a pending or approved I-130 petition, then in this case, you could very well qualify to stay in the US, but you must be maintaining legal status, right? If you're out of status, you are not under 21, or you don't qualify for VAWA. VAWA is where you're being mistreated by a US citizen or legal permanent resident spouse or parent, and you're under 21, you're going to have to to show that you're maintaining legal status, show that you have the approved I-130 petition, and also show that you have a current priority date. What does current priority date mean? So when that I-130 petition is filed, that I-130, that means that's the form. The I-130 that I'm referring to is the name of the form. Your parent is going to file the I-130 petition. When you get that back, you're going to see the priority date or the it's the priority date or the receive date. That date is your priority date. When you go to the National Visa Bulletin, they have a chart on there that shows you what dates they're currently processing. And if the date that they're processing falls before that date, or it says C, that means that you have a current priority date. That means that they're ready to process your case and you can actually file adjustment of status. But all the conditions have to be right in this case, right? So my rule of thumb here is if you're 21 or over, you're in the United States with legal status. That means you may be here on a B1, B2. You may be here on an F1. You may be here on an H1B. You may be here on an O1 visa. If you're here on a visa, you have a current priority date right at that time that you're here in the United States. You have an approved I-130 petition, then applying for the adjustment of status application that will allow you to stay here in the US and get your green card, it could very well be a priority, be a reality here. Never never just get up and submit an application, because remember, the information I'm giving you today is general information. It's there to empower you, but you still do need to get personalized legal advice, because the information I'm giving you is not legal advice. However, if you are right now listening to me and you're in this situation, you could very well apply for your permanent residence while you are here in the United States. Now, if you're out of status, then you're going to have to make sure that you go ahead and adjust. Adjust status if you're under 21 and you're unmarried. You can adjust status here through your U.S. citizen parent. If you have a legal permanent resident parent, there is a different process and it will not allow you to stay here and apply for permanent residence. So as you can see, whether you get to stay, whether you get to go, really depends on your specific facts. It depends on your current immigration status. It depends on the immigration status of your parent, whether they're a resident or they're a permanent resident, whether you're applying for VAWA, meaning your parent is mistreating you, or whether you're applying through your parent, as in your parent is filing the petition. So very important that you make sure you get that personalized legal advice to understand which path you're going to take. Now, I'm also here to answer your U.S. immigration related questions. Go ahead and put those questions in the comments. So I already see a great question here. Any updates on DACA? Now, while DACA, any new DACA applications are still on hold, the USCIS just announced that you can apply for the work permit and the DACA renewal online, which is great. Because the online is very convenient. When you apply, you get your receipt notice right away, and they often jump straight into processing. So it's a good way to get a head start on your case. But this is for individuals who are doing DACA renewals. A court order about a year back, or feels like a year ago, a court orders blocked the processing of any new DACA applications. They're only accepting renewals here. But now this can be done online, which is convenient and great. So if you have any other questions, concerns about it, make sure you schedule a consultation and we can talk about your case. Hi there, Honey Bun. So nice to see you. What would be the next step after the I-130 is approved? So after your approval of the I-130, then it depends. If you have a standalone I-130 petition, the next question is, where are you? If you're outside of the country, it's going to be sent to the National Visa Center. But remember, as I was saying before, it's going to depend on the priority date, right? Is your priority date current? Are they currently processing your date? It may be that you have to wait a couple more years before the National Visa Center is ready to process your case. So it's going to depend on what category are you in. Are you 21 and over, unmarried? Is your parent a U.S. citizen or a legal permanent resident? So Honey Bun, there is a specific chart called the National Visa Bulletin. If you go to Google, put in National Visa Bulletin, it's going to take you to the Department of State's website. So you should only be looking at the Department of State's website. That's the official one. They publish updated information every month, and you'd be able to see, have to look. So are you F2, are you F1 category, the son or daughter, unmarried, of a U.S. citizen? Are you F2? Are you F2A or F2B? Are you F3? Are you F4? These are the different categories. You're going to look at your category and you're going to look at the date that they're currently processing. If the receipt date on your I-130, the received date or priority date on your I-130 falls before the date on the chart, then it's time for the National Visa Center to start processing your case. Now, if you need specific legal advice, always schedule an appointment and we can talk more, because I know that this can be daunting information. I'm here to empower you with information, but I'm also here to assist you to make the process easier, to guide you through the process. So go ahead and schedule your individualized consultation. All right. So it has been 3 months since USCIS is reviewing my work permit. Is that out of processing time? So absolutely not. I don't know what category you're applying under, But for the most part, work permits are taking anywhere from 3 months to 12 months. So you're not outside of processing time. But it depends. Is this adjustment of status or is this for another type of status? Because the work permits may be processed differently just based on the underlying application. How do I know the priority dates? Okay, so I answered that. So this is Honeybun, so it's marriage. So this is marriage, the I-130. So if it's based on marriage, it should be current because your spouse is either a US citizen or a legal permanent resident. That means it's going to go to the National Visa Center and it's going to continue being processed there. So what you're going to do is you're going to get an email, or your spouse is going to get an email saying, welcome to the National Visa Center. Now pay these invoices in order for the National Visa Center to start processing your case. The invoices add up to about $445. Once you pay that, and the portal opens up, and then you have to start working with the National Visa Center. Be cautious here. The National Visa Center, if you don't know what you're doing, or if you submit wrong information, or if you submit a document that is not acceptable to the National Visa Center, you can go on for a year or more just going back and forth with them on uploading the right document. So this is where I say it's so important to have an attorney who knows, who's been through this repeatedly. I have done this time and time again. If you get one thing wrong, you know what's going to happen. The National Visa Center is going to write back 3 months later and say, oh, wrong document, or we don't accept this document. Please upload this. When you upload it, the next thing they're going to do is take another 3 months to review it. And if they don't accept that, send it back. And then you're going to upload it, and this can go on and on. So make sure that if you are really invested in your process, you want to make sure that it's a smooth process for you, that you get the right help to submit the documentation. After how many years of being undocumented can I apply for a green card? So if you don't qualify, so being undocumented alone and maybe living here, say 10 years, that's a common misconception that if you're here 10 years undocumented, you can apply for the permanent residence. It doesn't work. You may fall within an exception though, Nina. That's why I'm not saying you don't have an option, but being undocumented isn't going to qualify you. Being undocumented for a certain amount of time isn't going to qualify you. But that you may have family, you may have an exception here that could qualify you for that. So let us talk about your situation in a consultation, and I can advise you further and confirm whether there is a path for you. Okay, YouTube, hi there. When doing a VAWA, when does the child filing process begin, and when do they come to the US if out of the country? So at the point that the VAWA is approved, that's when the child's VAWA is going to be processed at the embassy. All right. What does it mean when it is current? So it means that when it's current, it means you're no longer waiting for an immigrant visa number, or there's no need for an immigrant visa number. So for example, sons, daughters under 21 of a US citizen, they never need an immigrant visa number. So they will always have a current priority date, meaning as soon as the petition is approved, it moves on for processing for the interview. However, with other categories like the son or daughter 21 and up of a US citizen, unmarried, you have to wait for an immigrant visa number. And unfortunately, that wait list right now is 6 to 7 years. So it's a long time. And you can look at the priority date is what it tells you about how long it's going to take for you. Is it advisable to travel with the travel parole while waiting on I-130 approval? I wouldn't be able, for my clients, I sit down with them on a one-on-one basis. I don't issue a blanket statement to my clients saying, go ahead, travel on your I-130, because remember, it comes down to your facts. Comes down, if your case is a risky case, if you have other issues like criminal issues going on, if you have previous immigration violations that have not, for example, if you leave the country and So say you're applying for adjustment of status through marriage, and you got your travel document, but at the same time you also have misrepresentation in your past. If you leave the country and then you're coming back in, an officer could see you have this travel document, but they bring up the misrepresentation. At that point, it's a risky situation. So it's on a case-by-case basis. It's really down to what's going on in your case. Is it a clean case? Are there other complications in your application? After how many years of being undocumented can I apply for the green card? So there's no time right now. There's no time set where you can apply for your green card as an undocumented immigrant. There's no right for an undocumented immigrant to apply for a green card just based on being undocumented for a certain amount of time. You do still need to have a relative, have a humanitarian need, be applying for relief to be able to obtain permanent residence eventually. So that's where you should, while I'm not saying you don't qualify for any of those, I would have to understand your circumstances. Does a baby need a visa to enter the US if the parents have a visa? So yes, so that baby is going to still need their travel document to get into the country. Is there a way to get my 19-year-old brother here with me? So if you're a U.S. citizen, you're going to have to file for your brother. If you're talking about getting your brother here on a permanent basis, you'll definitely have to file for him if you're a U.S. citizen and you're 21 and up. And whether there are other options for your brother is going to depend on the circumstances here. That's where scheduling the consultation is going to be very, very important. Go ahead, go to the link in the profile. It's going to take you to the website. When you go there, there's a phone number, there's a contact form, there's an online chat. Go ahead and use any one of those 3 ways to get in touch and then schedule an appointment. There's a scheduling coordinator available to assist you. There are also options to apply for your own appointment, and you can confirm it and have everything done all at once. Go to the contact page on the website or schedule a consultation, and you will see the form right there. It will walk you through all the steps to schedule your own appointment. I've been married for 3 years. Can my husband file for citizenship? So that is going to depend not only on the 3 years. You've been married for 3 years, but how long ago did he get his papers? So at a minimum, Tamika, he would have to have his papers for 3 years. So you'd have to have his green card for 3 years and show that he's been married to you for 3 years to be able to get that. So 3 years and 3 years at a minimum. I don't know what other situations are going on. That's where scheduling the consultation is going to be very important for me to be able to assist, make sure he qualifies in every way. I sent a letter to Vermont to expedite my U.S. citizen daughter going to college. I need to work. So Anita, I don't know what your situation is, but I would have to speak with you in a private consultation to understand. I have my I-601A submitted 2020 June. I already did fingerprints. I haven't heard anything. Yeah, so the I-601A can take anywhere from 6 months to up to 2 years. Our processing times are ridiculous right now, unfortunately. All right, so I am heading on over to Instagram. So our conversation doesn't have to end here. You can join me on Instagram. I'm going to hop over there in a quick minute. I'm the immigration attorney on Instagram. Join me there where we can continue to have this conversation. If you haven't gotten to ask your question, you can join me there. I'm also on Facebook. On Facebook, I'm ST Law Office. Join me there as well, and you can go ahead and continue to ask your questions. I don't limit you, and you can ask anything you want. Anita, you're welcome. Thank you for your time. I will be back tomorrow at 4 p.m. Eastern Time. So join me so we can continue to have this conversation. I will see you tomorrow, or I'll speak with you in a consultation. Go to the About page on YouTube, go to the link in the profile. It will take you to the website where you can go ahead and schedule your appointment. Have a great evening. Bye-bye. And thanks for the love.